Hey everyone, and welcome to part one of this five-part educational series on the upcoming November 2026 MFD ballot initiative. Now, if you've been following the discussions around the Manistee Fire and Emergency Response Authority, or MFD for short, you already know this regionalization effort is a massive, massive undertaking. So today, we're going to use the classic iceberg metaphor. We are looking beneath the surface. We'll be strictly examining the systemic, structural, and financial liabilities that were actually identified in recent audits. And just to be clear up front, we aren't taking sides here. We're simply mapping out the architectural gaps in the current proposal so that you, the taxpayer, can fully understand the mechanics at play.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Today, we're mapping out 5 specific, unresolved traps currently embedded in the initiative's framework: the baseline buy-in, the fait accompli trap, undefined services, the audited budget gap, and finally, the missing divorce clause.
Starting off with number 1, the baseline buy-in.
Before we even start talking about future taxes, we have to look at the financial commitment that's already been made: $5,000. According to the audit documents, this is the baseline entry fee that participating municipalities provided per jurisdiction just to fund the initiative and create the mandate. So why does this matter? Well, it means public funds are already in play. Taxpayers across these participating townships are inherently and legally invested in the outcome from day one. This isn't just some hypothetical late-night discussion. Actual municipal resources have been deployed to fund the steering committee's work. And honestly, that just really heightens the need for strict transparency and structural integrity.
That brings us to trap number 2, the fait accompli trap.
So, what exactly happens when a massive public initiative moves forward without independently verified foundations? That brings us to fait accompli. It's a term that basically translates to a thing accomplished and presumed irreversible. In the context of this M for ERA initiative, the audit flags this as a highly specific trap. It refers to the momentum of pushing toward the November 2026 ballot without an independently verified and audited operational budget. When a project is pushed toward the ballot phase before the fundamental financial math is locked in, it creates this scenario where municipal leadership and voters might feel kind of forced to accept an unverified structure simply because it's quote-unquote too far along to stop. The documents note that this sequence effectively disenfranchises the taxpayers who provided that initial $5,000 entry fee because, well, they're being asked to commit before the actual cost is even proven.
Which leads us to number 3, undefined scope of services. Basically, what are we buying? And this brilliantly illustrates the disconnect. If the financial foundation is still unverified, your next logical question should be about the product itself. On one hand, the public promise is enhanced services, but on the other, the operational reality flagged by stakeholders is undefined delivery. According to the structural assessment, there is currently no line-by-line definition separating fire response from EMS response. There are no staffing benchmarks, no response time penalties, nothing. The trap here is that townships could end up paying for a promise of enhanced services that are never actually contractually defined. It's like paying for a premium streaming service without knowing what shows are on it. Without binding guarantees, taxpayers are essentially funding a concept rather than a guaranteed service level.
All right, moving to number 4, the audited budget gap.
Shifting from operational concerns over to the financial risk, just read this quote pulled directly from the stakeholder concerns. They literally call this a blank check scenario, where millage rates can escalate without further public consent. This is an absolutely massive structural liability. Because an independently audited operational budget hasn't been finalized to justify the costs, the actual price tag and taxpayer impact remain completely open-ended. Think about it. If you create an authority that has the power to levy taxes or demand municipal contributions without a strictly audited, locked-in budget from day one, you are handing over a blank check. For municipalities just trying to protect their local general funds, this unresolved gap is a huge red flag.
And finally, number 5, the missing divorce clause.
We've talked about the buy-in, we've talked about the financial risks, but what happens if a municipality needs to back out? So, the crucial point is right here. Currently, townships become locked into the system with no mechanism to recover assets or withdraw without severe financial penalty. Think of it like signing a massive multi-decade corporate merger or even getting married without a prenup or a cancellation policy. If a township contributes their equipment, their vehicles, or their capital to the new authority, and that authority fails to deliver those undefined services we talked about earlier, how does that township get its fire trucks back? Well, right now, according to the audit documents, they don't. This missing divorce clause is perhaps the most permanent risk of the entire initiative, trapping local governments in an irreversible agreement.
Okay, let's pull all of this together. As we look at the landscape ahead of the November 2026 ballot, these are the three major unaddressed ballot liabilities you absolutely need to remember. First, there is no line-by-line scope of services defined, meaning absolutely no contractual guarantee of what response times or staffing levels taxpayers are buying. Second, there's a total lack of an independently audited operational budget, which creates that really dangerous blank check scenario for future tax rates. And third, there is no divorce clause or defined exit mechanism. Once a municipality is in, they are locked in, risking their local assets with no clear path out.
Which leaves us with this final, truly vital question. Will these traps be addressed before voters cast their ballots in November 2026? Taxpayers have already funded that initial $5,000 buy-in to get this far, and the structural liabilities lurking beneath the surface are significant. But hey, understanding these mechanics is the first step to informed civic participation. Thank you so much for joining me for part 1 of this Explainer series. Stay curious, keep asking the hard questions about structural accountability, and I will see you in part 2.